says the New York Times, as touching as it is irreverently amusing.
ML Alric
and I are going after the murderer.
Shawn Windsor.
How did you light on that greasy vagabond?
They say he has grit.
He's a notorious thumper. He's not a man I would care to share a bed with.
Nor would I.
And now,
The Red Shovel Network
presents
The Soul of Detroit.
You acid around your trust around my face. It's gone. What are you doing? Come on. That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job. Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now? Hey, kids, it's your old pal, ML Elric. And we have finally...
It sounded like you tripped over something to get to the mic.
It's just, I was going to rub it, but that's Shawn's move when he's got something to say.
Not really a rub.
I'm more of a
caress.
I'm more of a yam in the drawers guy, but we finally found Marc's true inner voice, and it turns out it's Kim Darby.
Who's Kim Darby? Is that the person in that? Is that True Grit? I've never seen True Grit.
That's the woman from True Grit who
Did you see the remake?
Just caricatured or imitated.
Wait a sec. That was a woman. I thought that was a little boy.
Well, she did have Maddie Ross did have a very what I would say is a they them haircut.
Well, there you go. That's why I thought it was a boy. I suppose.
I think it was 1870, so they didn't have a Bo-Rix back then.
And no, Shawn, I did not see the remake of it either. I'm not big into westerns.
Really? That's my favorite.
You don't
genre.
like America?
Why?
You don't like John Wayne?
I don't think I have ever seen a John Wayne movie.
Wait a minute. You've never seen a John Wayne movie?
No. I can't think of one.
You know who he is, right?
Oh, I know who he is. I know.
Marion Michael Morrison used to play football for USC.
I know who he is.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a movie that he's in.
Wow.
I don't like to watch racists in movies.
You know what? He wasn't a racist. In fact, his thing was he only liked to marry Mexican women. He had a thing.
Didn't they want to get rid of John Wayne Airport a few years ago because of something he said in Playboy in 1972?
Well, he was extremely conservative, and I think a very early supporter of Ronald Reagan before Reagan ran for governor of California. But if you see John Wayne, there's a video clip out there. We didn't even talk about how are we into John Wayne. When you
That was not part of the pre-show
that was not
meeting.
the lengthy pre-show meeting that in no way helped us prepare for this show.
And why were we meeting, by the way?
I was going to take us somewhere, but okay, we found a thread. Now we've just cut it. What we were talking about, the state of the show. We've noticed that as the temperature gets a little hotter, our numbers get a little cooler, and so we would like to take a cue from our friend Dan Wetzel and encourage you to tell a friend to listen. Our price for this show is the same as Dan's. It's free. So if you're not listening to the College Football Inquirer, or if you want to go piggyback, why don't you listen to Dan and tell a buddy to listen to our show? Or if you listen to our show, tell them to listen to Dan's show. And then your friend who listens to Dan's show maybe will tell you to listen to our show, but you're already listening to our show. I don't think this is going to work.
Was this part of the pregame meeting or pre-show meeting?
We
Mark?
didn't think it out. It's kind of like Sharon Moore. We got two quarterbacks, but maybe we have no quarterbacks. I'm not sure.
I wish they had two quarterbacks.
Maybe if you have two halves, like have the legs for the one guy and the arm for the other guy, would that work?
So, Mark, do you want to share?
Could you have a Davis orgy in Ann Arbor?
I'm waiting until he's done. What was your question?
You want to share a little bit?
About what?
The show and what we're talking about. You had some good thoughts.
No, I mean, we just need to increase our listenership, and that's fine. And, just tell a friend, keep us rolling. And if you like to pay for things, that's even better, because then check out the Patreon. You can see us on video and also get the bonus episode. Pretty simple.
And we will be recording a bonus episode soon with Erica Erickson, and this is, I know we have a bell for old bits, but do we have a drum roll? Do we have any sort of
I can get one, yeah.
confetti or any sort of big wind-up music? Not the Larry David music, which may be more fitting for this show. But okay, so in post-production, Mark's going to put some fireworks in here, but Erica Erickson will be joining this show on a somewhat regular basis.
This is going to be the worst drum roll. Well, it's not too bad. Okay.
But we already made the announcement.
Well, it's your fault.
Make it again.
I was
Right, here, how about
I
this one?
provided lots of opportunity to get the sound going.
We are a professional outfit.
And now this erosion in listenership becomes a lot more obvious. No, we just want to try and
There's
grow.
no erosion.
We want to try and grow the show for a couple reasons. It brings
Exactly.
in more revenue because of some of the ads that get inserted. The more people who listen, the more revenue that brings.
Plus, we're trying to bring another person on.
Yeah, and we have another mouth to feed, and that's going to be Erica Erickson, who I don't want to make it sound like she's a glutton because she takes very good care of herself. But she brings an element to this show that makes it more fun for us to do it. We've been doing this for 5 years, and every time she comes in here, there's a palpable sense of electricity and energy in this dank, lilas, urine-stained studio. Well, maybe she's not going to want to come in. I got to work on my pitch a little better. But it's great, and she brings a fresh perspective. And, of course, she's always involved in something really interesting, and so we like to catch up on what she's doing. So you'll hear Erica on the show. We hope a couple times a month she'll be our regular guest host. I'll be gone for the Michigan State-Boston College game, so hopefully she can come in and fill in for me. I'm actually looking forward to that game now. I was looking forward to it, then I wasn't looking forward to it.
Oh, you're entertained, eh?
Now I am looking forward to it.
Okay.
So, and I can say,
You're amused.
and only I can say that I am here representing the undefeated college football team in Michigan. Let's see. I think the only
Well
one.
done.
Although Western's had a couple of good outings, have come up short
Really? They look terrible against Ohio State.
Well, everybody looks terrible against Ohio State, except Michigan, who's looked really good. But they looked great, I thought, against Wisconsin. They scared the
Wisconsin's
shit out of them.
Yeah.
And then Eastern Michigan put in a nice performance against Washington, and in the end they pulled away. But when you're going from Ypsilanti to Seattle and you're keeping it close against a team that was a runner for the national championship, that to me is a pretty impressive performance. Central's having a rough start, but I think it's because they're distracted trying to complete that investigation into whether or not Connor Stallions was on the sidelines. So they do have some other things on their mind, and maybe Jim McElwain should focus on the football. But yeah, no, Michigan State undefeated. Who would have thunk it? But we were talking about John Wayne. So I'm going to end the John Wayne thought here.
Yeah, I was
have
just
to
looking at
circle.
the interview he gave that kind of came back in. It's fairly racist and homophobic, just saying. So
Yeah, well, John Wayne was not what we would call woke.
no,
But he spoke at Yale or Harvard or Berkeley, and it was a hostile crowd. This is by now he's on the plummeting on the downhill of his career. Got the really bad toupee on, his cancer. He's making really shitty movies like the one where he goes to England and he's a cop from Chicago, and not good, but he had this really hippie, radical crowd eating out of the palm of his hand because he just was one charming son of a bitch. But he made some really good movies, and True Grit.
Well, and once again,
It's one of them.
John Wayne doing an interview in 1971 with Playboy. I guess, okay. Are we that surprised?
Yeah, it's
We
not like they were
really
going to be
wanna
talking about the Equal
reshape all
Rights
of history?
Amendment.
No, it's whatever.
That was a magazine that
Just let it be known and let it still stand. I still have never seen a movie that he's been in as I'm looking over all these films.
Well, I highly recommend True Grit. Glenn Campbell, not the greatest acting performance, but he has a certain charm. And Shawn has seen the remake with Jeff Bridges. Both.
No, I have not seen
Oh,
it.
you have
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
Okay, I thought you were.
But thanks for listening.
Okay. Well, you asked Mark if he had seen it. I
Oh, nice.
assumed you were going to.
No, I was just curious if
Toodle him.
yeah, because
Nice asking people to listen when you don't.
I listen all the time.
Not you. I'm talking about him.
I'm trying to remember he's in a.
I did hear Shawn say that mention the remake. I assumed that he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah,
That was obviously an erroneous assumption that I should have known better than
There's
to
a
make.
the one Wayne movie I always liked was with Maureen O'Hara, The Quiet Man.
Are we making a show
you'll-
for people that are 80 years old?
Yeah, you'll love the
What is
quiet
The
man
Quiet Man?
until you work at a youth hostel in Ireland. It's like working on Mackinac Island. Oh, I really liked that movie with Christopher Reeve and Jane Seymour until they played it every hour of every day.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, Somewhere in Time. It's about Mackinac Island, so everywhere you go in Mackinac Island.
No. I understand that. Was that what happened
Quiet
with you
Man.
with the quiet?
Oh yeah,
Man?
the Quiet Man. If
Yeah,
you
stay
know.
on subject.
They play that. Well, I was talking about John Wayne, and you guys talking about something else.
No, I set you guys up for the pre-meeting show talk. You know what I mean? Threw you both softballs. I thought that worked out nicely.
Well, you could have waited for a period at the end of the sentence instead of a comma.
No, I could have
Or a
waited.
semicolon.
You're right. I could have waited till tomorrow, and that would have been fine. But I thought it would be
usual.
better if we went ahead and did it. But no. So what happened to you in Ireland in The Quiet Man?
They played it a lot. It was a simple story.
You already got
Beginning,
that.
a middle, and end. But
Oh, I thought there was more to it. What's your hair look like? Did you look like a flock of seagulls back then?
so here's the other announcement. Well, actually, it was quite dark because I dyed it black not too long before I got to Ireland. But
That
that's
sounds
not that interesting.
fetching.
So here's the other thing I forgot to mention. Because we're going to be joined by Erica, we need to make some room on this show. So this will be Shawn Windsor's
Oh,
Last show.
last show.
Never.
We didn't discuss that in the meeting
Hey,
before the show, but I just
got-
made a snap decision.
I
That's what
got-
leaders do.
I got a new hoodie, a new Soul of Detroit hoodie last week, so I'm good.
That's what we call a parting gift.
It's nice. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Bob Barker over there. It's nice. It's yeah.
once this is like a game show. Once you get a prize, it's yours to keep.
Did
no
you
matter whether
did you
or not
love the
you-
microphone that he used to hold?
I hated it. The little wing,
The skinny little microphone
weird.
that, on The Price is Right, of course, we're talking about for those of you under.
Do you know why?
for the 70
under
year
70.
We're
do
getting
you know
closer.
why he used that microphone?
Why is that?
We had an interview once with Drew Carey because Drew Carey was
a phallus?
using it as well, and he said no. Problem is, when you're on that show and you're talking to the contestants, you constantly have to put the microphone. They didn't have wireless ones because you didn't know who was going to be on the show, and you didn't want to have a big bulbous microphone going back and forth. It's just
Sure.
it's way more distracting.
Well, that makes sense. And
Makes a lot of sense.
You
Yeah.
probably don't want to get too close to some of the contestants on that show, since I think most of them are homeless, since they have nothing to do during the day except sit in Culver City and wait to
That
get
is a
called out an audience.
sir. That is a very broad brush. You know, Teebs was on that show, right?
And it's
Drew?
also not true.
Did you hear me?
They
Did
get
you
a lot
know
of
Josh Teebs was on that show?
Speaking of Teebs, is one of the major funders of this show. The guy bought 732 koozies during our merchandise sale. So
How was Carey, by the way?
Oh, what? Who? What?
Drew Carey, how was he?
Oh, he's great. He's a great interview. He really is. I mean, he's a really fun guy, normal guy.
I think of Jeff Ross's line about him at the Friars Roast that he was the he looked like Buddy Holly and Barney Rubble had a baby.
Oh, yeah. But he lost all that weight now, and he kind of looks a little weird. But,
sounds about right.
yeah.
Get a big head. I like that show he did out of Cleveland, though. That was pretty good.
He had a fun guest appearance on the Larry Sanders Show once, where he propositioned a woman, and she was pregnant. She said, "I'm sorry, I'm pregnant." He said, "That's fine. The more, the merrier."
Oh, gross.
Whew, wow.
What made me?
That's a good line.
Maybe
What
That's a good line.
I can
It is kind of a good
go
line.
ahead.
I can sense Erica reconsidering with every syllable.
Erica would actually like that line, and you know that.
She would love it. Yeah.
Don't get your faux.
No. I think she's too
What
sophisticated
your
for that sort of
pretend
gutter talk.
your pretend outrage here? Come on, like you're some kind of Puritan.
I'm the bulwark against the slime that you want to try and pump through these.
You're the one talking about getting a yam in your pants at the top of the show.
I just said I'm a yam man. I like sweet potato fries. Is that anything wrong with that?
Did he say anything
A lot of
about
salt.
fries, Mark?
No, of course not.
Of course he didn't.
That's your filthy mind.
Oh no, I'm fries or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, John Wayne.
Fries are whatever.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
You know,
fries
fries
or whatever.
Take them or leave them.
So it's
Okay.
yeah.
It sounded like Trump over there.
With
Fries
this-
or whatever.
Yeah,
It's like
with
some
this,
random thing he would throw out there.
Childcare.
Marco Rubio
Yeah, that's
is the key.
By the way, the debate is tonight. I think most people will have either heard about it or watched it by the time this show filters out.
Do you
to
think
our
it's going to be?
audience.
Do you think it's going to be a large viewership, or are people just burnt out on politics in general?
Yeah, so I don't think we want to necessarily handicap the debate, but I'm comfortable making a couple predictions and seeing how they play out over the next week.
I'm just saying.
That's
I'm
not
just,
really
I'm
what
just
he asked
curious because I'll watch it, but I didn't watch the first debate. I typically don't care about debates. I get nothing out of them. But this one I'm going to watch.
Yeah, no, I think
Because
it will
of the
be.
theater?
I think it'll be highly watched. I would watch it, except I'm going to be at Cage the Elephant at Pine Knob. But I think
Wait, Cage the Elephant? Have we ever played him on the show?
No, great band though.
you're welcome to bring the song on anytime, Shawn.
Why don't you bring him on the show? Does it not fit within the quote unquote room 7609?
Do you know their catalog really well?
I do.
My only this is so silly, but my only complaint about Cage the Elephant is, do they sing a lot of cliches? Like they're like a lot of their songs seem to be titled after cliches, and you hear like, and not just like the lyrics being cliche, but actual cliches and sayings are in their songs.
Oh,
Do you not
wow.
find that, or is that just me?
No, I mean, I'm someone who really gravitates towards the lyrics as much as anything else, and that's never occurred to me.
So, but you're talking more about the titles or the songs themselves?
The titles and the lyrics. So, "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked." There's a song, right? It's
Sure,
kind of a cliche. I think there's other ones too.
Not one of my favorite in their catalog.
Well, you could do what the Dead Schembechlers did.
What's that?
The punk band.
Oh, yeah,
the
out of
Ohio
Columbus.
State, out of Columbus, Ohio. Their titles are like Bomb Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
You know,
Take It or Leave It.
yeah.
That's another.
You could
title.
go that way,
Black Madonna.
In One Ear.
or Fuck Michigan. That was another one.
That's one of my favorites.
That's not really a cliche.
That's high on my playlist.
Actually, that might be a cliche at this point. Fuck Michigan.
Yeah, it could be.
It's been used. No.
Well, it's right up there, I would say, with "Fuck Ohio," which was chanted on ESPN Game Day.
Oh dear, that's some. And they're
Whatever.
And Spartans
So-
used to say "F Harbaugh" on the sidelines. They chant that pretty loud. Turns out they knew what they were talking about.
So are you going to bring Cage the Elephant? By the way, when you go to the concert, do you carry a lighter? Are you you hold up? Do people still do
No
that?
one does that anymore.
No, I don't hold up my phone either. I don't go for that shit.
So so people hold the phones up in lieu of the
Yes.
lighter.
Yes.
That's what happens.
Yeah, it's lame.
Yeah,
You-
didn't
nobody-
they do
nobody-
that at the Tony Bennett show you went to?
Do you drive in Tony Bennett?
At the
I love
Andy
Tony-
Amo showroom or wherever you went to your last
I
concert?
do love Tony Bennett, but do you?
Sean, what was the last concert you went to?
I
Will
don't
Cohen
remember.
at Trailer Park.
It's been a long time. I don't remember.
Nothing at the Ark. I could see going to the Ark for something.
No, that Ark's not really for me. But
Scratch acid at the Necto.
Do you drive in a van and put shoe polish on the side of the van? You know, like you're going to see
This isn't the 70s.
ZZ Top.
Shoe polish.
This isn't the 70s.
White shoe polish, of course. Oh, do you at least get high?
Although in fairness to you, Sean, he does seem to be living in the 70s.
Yeah, do you at least get high?
Wait,
Before a show?
Which one of us is going to Cage the Elephant and which one of us is watching a debate? I mean, I don't want to be
Oh, you asked you a question.
pigeonhorned as somebody who doesn't go to.
do you
see
get
live
high when you
music.
go to a show?
It depends what's going on at the time. If
I
I'm
guess.
driving, I probably don't.
Okay.
But I often, when it comes to those matters, rely on the kindness of others. Although I will tell you,
that makes sense because it costs money.
no, just because I don't go and buy it and I
Okay.
don't carry it around, and I'm more of a drinker
because
than
it
a
costs
smoker.
money.
Well, booze is more expensive than weed.
I wish I could remember.
You ever
I
buy a
haven't been
bottle of
doing-
booze? That shit ain't cheap.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing concert in probably 30 years at least. I would
What?
imagine. Maybe longer.
Really?
I saw a few arena shows in high school in Dallas that were regrettable. You know,
Okay. Explain.
I don't know, Journey,
Oh, God. Gross.
yeah, Van Halen. I went with
There's nothing wrong with Van Halen.
I went with the crowd, you know, to the
I have never felt more comfortable about you not liking my music than I feel at this moment.
No, I said I just went with the crowd of people because that was, you know, you take it. Everybody piles in with malt duck and weed, and you go see the
Oh,
concert.
that's why you went?
Yeah, I just kind of went along for the ride, you know.
If they wanted to go loot downtown, would you go with them?
I saw the Replacements in Austin. That was fun. The Butthole Surfers.
Somehow you equate the Replacements with looting.
The Butthole Surfers. I don't know. Yeah, back in the 80s.
Sean, can I suggest something?
I saw Wynton Marsalis.
How about if I be
Again,
you
that was
for a
in the
while
80s.
and you be me?
Eric, I think what it is he's just really slow and he was still answering the previous question.
I'm just trying to. No, it took me a while to remember. I've literally not seen a concert in. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
put the camera on me for our Patreon.
I saw
If you're-
Dinosaur Jr. in the
I
early 90s.
did not see the Jeff Bridges remake of the
Does that count?
of the True Grit cinema.
Does that count, Mark?
You're still like 5 questions behind.
The film.
I don't know. Yeah.
You've been a busy man though. You've been writing columns.
No, I just don't worry about live music, I guess.
That's a shame. You know why? Because it's a great place to see live music.
Where?
That'd be the Caju Cafe.
Oh,
know that?
okay.
It's the pride of the East Side where you find great eats, dope beats. I wrote that myself. And feather bowling. Start your week off right with Muscle Madness every Monday when the Caju dishes up all-you-can-eat mussels. Wednesday, it's karaoke. Thursday, hear Billy Brandt, Nathan and Jesse, and Dude. Friday, catch Cherry Drop, Broad X, or Brood X, and the Amalgam Jam Band. Saturday, the Luddites take the stage, and then a weekend ends on a high note with Broken Arrow Blues Bands, Detroit-style Electric Blues, and Boogie. Detroit-style Electric Blues and Boogie. It's not like Boogie's the third act. That's all part of the Blues and Boogie. For more on the menu, both the food and the music, go to cajucafe.com. The beer garden is open. That's where you'll see most of these great acts while the weather is still beautiful as it is today. And if you wander back by the garage bar, you usually see me there bending an elbow. It's my favorite place to rehydrate on the east side or pretty much in all of Detroit. That's the Caju Cafe. For more, go to cajucafe.com. And since we're doing a little commerce here, let me also suggest that if you're trying to plan for your future, Luke Nowacki is the man. Luke Nowacki and Pinnacle Wealth Strategy will help you prepare for a more secure future. And listen, we're talking about the debate. Well, we tried. We'll get to it. I heard from the best of celebrities, if Donald Trump wins in November, it's the end of our nation. Then I heard from some other people that if Kamala Harris wins in November,
It's the end of our nation.
It's the end of our nation.
Yeah.
It seems like we may be screwed either way.
So if you're a pessimist, you're screwed either way. If you're an optimist, it's just, okay, we'll be fine.
And if you're one of the few rational people out there, you ask Luke Nowacki to help manage your investment portfolio as the country implodes like the last days of Rome. So what do you have to lose? You can't lose more than 100%. And you may have plenty to gain. So please, if you're looking out for your future, whoever wins, check out our friend Luke Nowacki, because when you call Luke, he'll make it all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through
Mosaic Wealth.
Think member FINRA SIPC.
Mosaic Wealth.
Think is separately owned and other entities and or marketing names. Products or services referenced here are independent.
Mosaic Wealth.
Inc.
I have a question. Where can you get a good corn dog?
Like a better than perfect
fair?
corn dog?
Like a corn.
fair.
That's not at a fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know because I don't eat them. But if you want to get better than
Wait,
perfect
you serve
vision,
them at your parties.
you might want to go see Dr. Yull.
Hey.
And we also do sliders, and I don't eat White Castle either. So no corn dogs, no White Castle,
wait,
no
so you're
Little Debbie,
so
none
you
of those
gotta-
Hostess snowballs, those pink things that look like they're made with friable asbestos on the top. No, thank
So
you.
you're like Trump serving Big Macs in the White House. You're pretending to be of the people, but you're really not.
I guess you.
Well,
if
no,
that's,
you
if
be-
that's your rubric, then my wife is more like Trump because she serves that stuff.
And she doesn't eat it.
I just roll out the
You
beer.
ra-
Trump
you
doesn't
rag
drink.
on-
I'm a Fred Trump guy.
You write what, drunk?
I'd like to have a drink.
You ragged on McDonald's last week. You don't eat fast food at all?
I do Culver's.
You are not a man of the people.
Just Culver's.
I do, and occasionally after hockey, maybe I'll hit the BK Lounge on my way home.
BK Lounge.
What?
Burger King.
I figured.
So weird.
I
No Taco Bell, no Wendy's, no.
Yeah, Arby's.
I occasionally do Taco
You know,
Bell.
get a
I
little,
like
horseradish.
I like
on
the
Arby's.
Jamocha shake from Arby's, and they used to do some really good wraps, but they stopped making them.
They used to have
Mediterranean.
potato pancakes, and they stopped.
Oh, they
making
still do. Those are great.
Well, you
no,
mean Panda
no,
Express?
they didn't stop. They didn't stop potato pancakes, did they?
Or potato cakes, whatever. Yeah, they did.
Potato cakes with a little horsey
Yes,
sauce.
I
Oh my
know.
God,
I know.
That's heaven.
It is heaven.
It's heaven and a heart attack.
It's both.
So why Burger King over McDonald's?
Why I like the. I mean, I know this is ludicrous. I like that it's grilled, but they often just microwave it. That I don't like. So I'd rather have it grilled than fried.
So no Wendy's then?
One of the most.
No, I don't do Wendy's. Although occasionally,
So particular.
occasionally in a real jam, I'll do it. But I like the frost, and I think Wendy's has the best fries, so I do like the fries there.
One of the most shameful things I've ever done in my life involved Burger King.
Says
Oh, wait, what?
Mark's entire empire is built on McDonald's. We have to have a disclaimer
I'm
that
fully
he is,
biased. Yeah.
He is his dad
I like the
was
filet.
Mayor McCheese,
I like the filet fish.
which makes you. What was McCheese's kid? Would that make you
I don't think he
a
had
Happy
children.
Meal? No. Oh, I'm sure he did. If he was a mayor, he fooled around. I'm telling you, that's where the kids' meals came up with.
Well, I
Man
think about
McCheese
it.
is like, just give this to the kid and shut
No,
up.
think about it. I don't think there were any female characters.
Oh.
Maybe Grimace.
Oh.
I want to hear about what did you do at Burger King, Sean?
I'm ashamed. I don't think I can talk about it.
Well, you have to now that you brought it up.
I regret it. It was, yeah.
Did you hook your,
Not only that, it was illegal.
your friend up on a date with some tater tots?
That was breaking the law, too. So there's that.
Yeah, but the statute of limitations is done. Unless you
except-
murdered somebody. Did you murder
No, I
somebody
did
at Burger
not.
King? Okay.
No, I did
Then
not.
I think you're fine.
Me and
I think you're in the clear.
me and my best childhood bud, we were broke, and he was living in Illinois. I was in Texas.
Did you rob a Burger King?
No.
quite a buildup.
I came up for.
You're making it worse than whatever it is.
I came up for the holidays to see my pop, and I took a Christmas time job, and I worked he and I worked the drive-through together for a couple of weeks, and every third or fourth car we would take the order and not punch it in the computer.
Just take the cash?
And take the cash.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Wait,
boy.
that's the story you were ashamed of telling?
I'm very ashamed of that. I
got news for you. There's a lot of fast food workers that skim.
I skimmed for about 2 weeks when I was 18.
And if you don't skim, a lot of times people will just give free food out to their friends and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but Mike has never skimmed anything in his life.
No, he's too moral.
We're just moving on.
No, have you ever done that?
Have I ever done what?
I mean,
skimmed from a till.
Skimmed, or just anything. Have you ever stolen candy out of a gas station? Have you ever?
Oh, well, so when I was in elementary school, my buddy, who is now a Patreon supporter of the show, by the way, decided we would we'd open our own candy store, and the way we would do is we would take orders from our fellow students, and then we would go shoplift from the local pharmacy. And it was a great plan until one of us got nailed the first time we tried it. And after that, we were so traumatized. That was it. Never again. Never again. That was very difficult.
My wife still feels guilty for stealing Bit-O-Honeys out of the corner store.
Well, that's tough because when they catch you and they ask, did you steal it? You can't answer because your teeth are all locked together.
Did you ever skim or steal or shoplift or
me?
Yeah, steal a car maybe.
No comment.
What'd you do? Come on.
I don't know. I had a friend that was a very bad influence.
Yeah, we all did.
So I was always the accessory to a crime. My favorite story about him, he once made the Ann Arbor News crime beat. Remember the crime beat? They would put in every week.
I do.
Police blotter. That was one of the best things in newspapers.
You know what? It's still the reason I will read the Woodward Talk, because I think Berkeley police always give them stories. They always film the police. And there's always something in Berkeley that's crazy. But he made in high school, I don't know. I think the statute of limitations is done, but I can't mention who he is either because it's a long story. Anyway, we had a football game at another school in the area, and he went back the next day and broke into the concession stand and stole all the candy they had and proceeded to sell it for the rest of the year to everybody else at school and give it away. He was very, once he stole it, he was kind of like Robin Hood stealing candy.
Were you with him when he did it?
I was not with him when he did it, but I was his last and first stop after it happened, before and after it happened, because he borrowed something from me that was true.
Did you yourself ever?
I can't believe it.
Do anything? Did you yourself
Me?
ever do anything? Yeah.
You know what? Not really. I don't think I did, but I was always around a good amount of, juvenile crime. But because I had friends that shoplifted from Hudson's at Briarwood Mall.
Yeah, no.
I think I told that story. Did I tell that story?
No, you didn't. But I remember, yeah.
People used to do it all the time. I had a friend, and him and another guy were there. And it was that old thing back when you could do this, where you could take like 6 pairs of pants into the changing room, and you would put them all on and then put your pants on over and just walk out of the store, which is crazy to think.
No, you absolutely should be able to do that. Yep.
So they busted one of my buddies, and they're like, the crime prevention officer. He said, I want your phone number, and I'm going to call your parents. And so he did that in front of them. They weren't home because they were working. It was during the day. So he left this long message. This is Hudson's Crime Prevention. Please call us back at this number. So my 2 buddies raced to his house, deleted the message because it was an answering machine. And then my one friend, which I laugh about it now because it's so ridiculous to think at age, 16, 17, he would sound like an adult, called the number back pretending to be his parents. And to the crime prevention officer's credit, he knew this kid was full of shit, but acted like, okay, cool, everything's fine, and proceeded to wait a few hours and call back.
So
Call the parents back.
if this kid had just kept his mouth shut, he might have got away with it.
Yeah, if they would have just deleted the message.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
no, 100%. But instead, he called back, pretending they're like, okay, thank you, sir, very much.
Did you guys ever try to forge a note to get out of school or call the school saying, pretending you were, do a Ferris wheel?
No, I was a good boy.
Yeah. It's,
Okay, Mike
so
apparently.
if you're looking for better than perfect vision, Dr.
Mike
Yaldo.
apparently was
Okay,
not.
all the time.
Yaldo Eye Center can get you.
You don't want to look back, huh? You just want to look forward with the eyesight.
Every time I try and plug Dr. Y, I somehow end up testifying against myself for taking the fifth. I'll just say that there was a class that met more often than I attended, and it was a class that was mainly based on attendance, and I was going to get a good grade, except I needed to excuse some absences, and then I may have generated a note from a dentist that the dentist didn't actually generate that explains several absences.
Why did you miss those classes to begin with, though?
This will not shock anybody here. It had something to do with the hour of the class, which was an early hour. And,
I thought you were going to say you were sneaking off to see the Smiths or something.
No. Although I wish I had back then. Back then they were playing small venues. That would have been awesome. Not that they toured over here very much, but
did you wear a trench coat back in those days? By the way, with Doc Martens.
I did, and I had a friend that had a trench coat that we actually called it the Mad Coat because when he wore it, it looked like he was some sort of lunatic. It was sort of army green, and it was very flowing, and it just made him look like he was dangerous.
Nice.
I think it's the same sort of coat that was later used by Dylan Klebold or some other really evil person. So,
do they still keep back issues of the Ann Arbor News somewhere? Because now I want to find the crime report on this guy.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, because I remember at the library in the microfilm.
Really? Because I remember the line they used was a criminal with a sweet tooth, which became his nickname.
Sweet Tooth
became his nickname.
Nice.
Yeah. Best part is he's got a kid that plays football now, and they played their best weekend. Like,
well,
I wonder if you
to take this whole story full circle. So you're a McDonald's guy,
please.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's in my blood.
you hate John
Literally, it's in my blood.
Okay.
Yeah, that explains the high cholesterol.
Exactly.
And Mike's a Burger King guy, and with the Aldo, you can see both well.
Oh, Shawn!
Fuck's sake,
Shawn with the segue. No one ever saw that
It was
coming.
terrible.
It was terrible.
Actually, Shawn, I can see
I think
better
Shawn
than
needs
well.
to leave or something.
It was terrible.
I
actually do need to leave here in a few minutes. And since it's my last show,
Never.
Yeah, you know what? Here's how we'll get Shawn back on the show. If we can get a sponsorship from Adderall, maybe that will be. And we don't need money. We'll just take it in product. If you've got like a semi full of Adderall, that ought to take us through. I don't know, September.
You say I need to up the energy or focus or both?
It's going to be like Homer Simpson with the conveyor belt of donuts. We're just going to have the Adderall going right into your mouth and go, just to get through the show.
Just to up the alive level.
The focus. Just trying to zero in on
the focus.
Yeah.
I got us back. All right.
Yeah. Well, not quite yet, but focusing. If you're having trouble with that, Dr. Yaldo and the Yaldo Eye Center can help you. If you would like to have better than perfect vision, like Marc and I, you can get LASIK done. We both have 2015 vision, and it's fantastic. We got rid of the glasses, the contacts, all these archaic things to help you see better because of this procedure, and nobody has done more of these procedures in Michigan than Dr. Yaldo. Also, we should tell you that if you get to be a certain age, an advanced gentleman such as myself or Shawn in your 50s, sometimes you still need a little help reading up close, like the menu or instructions or anything like that. Forget about the flashlight on your phone. You don't need that. You can get a procedure from Dr. Yaldo that will give you both near and far vision, and Dr. Yaldo can tell you all about it if you go to the Yaldo Eye Center. You can go to our website to get a link to his website. We're at mlsoulofdetroit.com. You can call Dr. Y, make an appointment. And when you do go to see Dr. Y, tell him that ML sent you.
Were we distracting you there with our little off-air conversation?
I'm used to kibitzers, but I'm wondering if
we were talking about the show.
If people maybe heard some of that in the back, it was kind of loud.
Why'd you move again? There you go. Okay. No, what we were just talking about.
We were background singers.
If people can hear as well as Dr. Yalda will help them see, I'm sure they heard everything.
Oh, it just sounded like a nice sort of symphonic background music. It was background singers.
Those deep pipes of yours carry.
I think that's what cats tell each other when they're mating at night and you hear that yowling. It's like, this is really going to get the kitty. I don't know that that's true.
Do cats make a particular noise when they do that? Are you familiar with this? Or?
It's caterwauling is where it comes from.
Okay.
But before we get to our Geek of the Week, I can't let this week go because I thought that my last
Why
week
not?
to really feel good about Michigan State football came and went before it even began. But I will tell you, after Saturday, when I expected to see Michigan State get beat for a third year in a row by the Maryland Terrapins, I am feeling way better about my team because our young quarterback, the $1 million man, Aiden Childs, had some very, very impressive game-over-game improvement.
Hey, is that what he's getting paid? He's getting paid $1 million?
So I don't know, and I don't think this stuff is publicly disclosed, but the word
so do you like
on
NIL
Grand
now?
River Avenue is 1.4 to 1.5.
Do I like
don't, because you know what's going to happen if he has a great season? Alabama's going to give him $2 million, and then we don't have a quarterback.
Would you rather be
Clemson? Keon Coleman on us.
Would you rather be Clemson and never pay and bring transfers in?
Let's just see where it goes. Enjoy this season. Mark, you had a question for me before I leave because I unfortunately do have to go for work.
Well, now I want to change the subject based on what he just said. So I'm reading. I just want to point this out. I'm reading the Armin Contagion book about,
and then Michigan blew it. There was that too. That was very good. It was a double dip.
She didn't blow it.
Which was more enjoyable? Which was more enjoyable?
Oh, for him, there's
them
no
getting
Spartans
crushed.
win. No, Spartans victory is always more enjoyable.
Bullshit.
It's not all about you. It's not all about you guys.
I didn't think it was.
Even though the late, great James Earl Jones, who represented another evil empire, said the greatest university in the universe.
In the world.
I thought it was the known universe.
Well, it really bothers you, huh?
I thought it was more grandiose than the world.
Just the world. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll settle for the world.
That's fine. They may settle for the Belk Bowl.
Shawn, before you leave, I thought you had a really good column yesterday. We were going to talk about that a little bit, but ML's just eating up all the time, gloating.
We got 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Shawn should be able to get half of a sentence out by then.
I could do that. What's?
Well, no, I thought it was interesting that you went to both games, right? Texas, Michigan, and the Lions game. Yeah, and the atmosphere was ridiculous for both. But then you wrote about last night. Aleem McNeil, the defensive tackle, and how
for the Lions
we had to wind down after the game, which I, as a fan, I had to wind down after the game when I got home. I was that excited and pumped up for the way they came back and pushed overtime and then beat the Rams in the game. But Akeem McNeil relaxed by watching the Reba show, which I thought was really funny.
Which hadn't been on television. I mean, first run episodes were 2007, so almost 20 years.
What, Mama's Family was not streaming?
No, isn't that funny that Reba, he kind of joked about it, and he blamed his girlfriend and said, well, she's got it on all the time, so I just watch it. It's like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And he's talking about watching Reba. I always
wondered who watched it at 4
Who's his girlfriend?
I thought that was funny.
And why is he dating, is this Harold and Maude situation? I mean, who the hell is dating a woman who's still watching Reba?
No, but he'd gone home and he was wound up. He watched some of the game film and thought about the game, got through, and then couldn't sleep and started watching Reba. And then he got hooked. He fell down the rabbit hole, and then he's up till almost the sun's coming up or whatever. But Dan Campbell talked about that too, that sometimes, you just get so hyped. And I feel that coming out for a night game just because the adrenaline, the deadline and all that. And you get home, you can't go, I got home at 3-something Sunday night, but it's hard to go right to sleep. So yeah, no, it's
What's the BritBox equivalent of Reba? Did you watch Walpole at the Bailey or something?
Vera.
Wow.
But the rest of your column was about, and I like it because you wrote about expectations, which is what all sports is, right?
Right.
That's why you loved the Spartan victory over Maryland, because you didn't expect them to win.
People were excited the
Michigan
Lions
fans
won.
But they played well, too, after losing a lot of players. So that gives me
But
some
it's based
hope.
on the expectation, which is why Michigan fans are upset. We thought we'd lose, but not like
Whereas
that.
the Lions fans
That's what I was gonna
were
get to,
grateful
yeah.
for the win. And obviously it was, fun. They came back in overtime. But there was a interesting sense late Sunday night into Monday that, aren't we Super Bowl favorites? And why did we blow a 17-3 lead in the second half? And is our offense as good as it should be? And
You mean from the fans?
yeah, and I thought the defense was going to be a little bit better. And God, it was. This is how quickly it can change. They win this game last year, this time, and people are like, "Oh, this is awesome. We're on our way, right?"
What was it like in Allen Park, though? What are the expectations like? Well, yeah, we won. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but
Because you had a good line in
Campbell's
there.
talking about how. What was the line? Sorry.
I knew that would get you to stop. No, you had a good line in there about how the standings doesn't care about how you got the win. There's something to that effect. It was more eloquent than what I just said.
Well, I trust you. I mean, I'm not really eloquent, and I'm certainly
I'll
not,
see if I can find it.
Not Elrickian.
Certainly not focused.
No, but yeah. No, it's just expectations, everything. Perspective is everything. And all of a sudden, after another season of of hype and expectations, everybody's darling to get to the Super Bowl. Not everybody's, but a lot of national folks.
My God, this was way more eloquent than how I said it.
Oh, what is it?
The standings are indifferent to the journey. Good line.
He's mocking.
That's a good line.
Stole that from Reba.
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe it's just
She's a hell of a lot more charming.
I channeled Elric. Anyway, no, that's it. Yeah, it's all about Michigan's in shock because of where they've fallen.
They're still
from.
in shock?
The Lions fans aren't in shock. Yeah, they are. The Lions fans aren't in shock, but they're in a different place now, and so they're gonna parse each Sunday the rest of the season in a different way because they're thinking about the end of January, beginning of February. And then Spartan fans weren't expecting much at all because they got out of the gate. They're like, "Oh my God, is this quarterback whatever?" And then all of a
plus
sudden,
major injuries.
yeah, right. And then the next
Areas
week
of
at
weakness. We have
Maryland,
guys out for the season
Aiden
already.
Childs looks like, wow, is he going to be Vince Young in a couple of years? You know what I mean? So Spartan, you guys, y'all, as I would like to say, as we say down in Texas, are giddy.
I thought you were living in Illinois. You're like a Chamelon.
Yeah, I changed my. You know what? I do have to admit, when I go back to Texas or the South, the accent does come back.
Okay, Kamala.
It does.
Yeah, because you sound like a Cockney right now.
Do I?
Yeah. Well, maybe not the knee part.
Oh, what a dick.
I was waiting.
Turkey is today.
No, that was a long ellipsis. That was like 10 dots instead of 3. I was waiting.
10 capsules.
All right, you're free to go now.
Bad.
Although you did spend more time in the
Great.
pre-show meeting than you did the actual show.
you
I
know,
know.
Shawn-
Great to see you guys.
Shawn is right about the Lions. In hockey, there are no ugly goals. On the score sheet, they all look fantastic, just so long as you have
course.
one more than the other guy. So
Great to see you. Great pre-show meeting. Good,
Yeah.
good show. And yeah, tell your friends out there, people, come on. I'd like to still come back. I'll come back occasionally, right?
It's kind of like the National
Change
Lampoon's
the
cover by.
locks.
Remember the infamous National Lampoon's cover?
Do I get to come back or no? Is it just Erica now?
No, you do.
Yeah.
But do you remember the National Lampoon, the magazine?
I do.
Do you remember when they had the dog with the gun on its head for the cover?
Oh, yeah.
Buy this magazine or we shoot this dog.
Yeah.
So maybe that's listen to the show or
no, we are
do something to Shawn.
we prefer the dogs to the people. No, Shawn will be back, and
Unfortunately, in his tone, you can hear that.
it's mainly because of court order. But he will be joined occasionally by Eric.
All right, see y'all.
bud.
Shawn will be on the
You
road.
can talk now, Mike. So.
Oh man, the geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
So if you missed Shawn Windsor, the best way to get him back is become a Patreon subscriber. For $5 a month, you get to watch the show. You get to get the show before anybody else. It posts to Patreon before any other platform. Those annoying insertion ads that are an important revenue stream to us, you don't have to listen to them. They're out. They're gone. You don't have to deal with that at all. And perhaps best of all, you'll get access to our monthly bonus episode, which we'll be posting a little bit later in September. Our most recent one was Bernie Smilovitz talking about some major changes in local television and also telling some amazing stories from his fantastic career. That's just $5 a month. So please join us for just $5 a month. We have a couple new members of the Soul Patrol. We'll be thanking them a little bit later in the show. But for our Geek of the Week, this one feels really, really easy, and it's RFK Jr. If you've been following jurisprudence over the last 72 hours, he was on the ballot in Michigan, he was off the ballot in Michigan, and now the Supreme Court has put him back on the ballot in Michigan, which would seem like a victory for RFK Jr. because for months he complained about, I can't get on the ballots anywhere. They're trying to keep me off of this thing here. But then he endorses Donald Trump, which is fine. That certainly is right. But in Michigan, he represents the National Law Party, the Natural Law Party. This is a very small party, a fairly benign outfit that believes that if we all got together and did more transcendental meditation, we would have world peace.
Wait, so he is on the ballot or he is not on the ballot?
He is on the ballot, which is something that he really wanted. But now that he wants Trump to win, he wants to be off the ballot. But he used the Natural Law Party to get on the ballot. And if he had come off the ballot, in some states, and I believe Michigan is one of them, if you don't get a certain number of votes, you lose your place on the ballot for the next election. So he used these guys to get on the ballot. Then he wanted to get off, which would essentially screw them. And I think it may be one of the reasons why Jill Stein keeps running for the Green Party. I mean, she's nothing but a spoiler and actually hurts a lot of the causes she supports, because if you vote for her, you were going to vote for the Democrat. There's no way if you're thinking Jill Stein, you're like, yeah, I'll throw a vote to old Trumpy over here. But I think they do this because they want to keep their place on the ballot in case someday their party actually has a chance. But RFK fought to get on, then he fought to get off, and now he's on. It's like, dude, if you want to run for president, run for president. If you think you're the best person for the job, stay in the race. But instead, he's trying to leverage all these people he mobilized to further his own personal ambitions. And if all you care about is yourself, man, it's not just this week, it's every week. You're our geek.
See you again. There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night. You've got the time.
Well, here's a song I think Shawn would appreciate, but of course, he's toddled off to yet another press conference. I don't know. Is he going to the Lions one, or is this the Wolverines or the Spartans?
I think he did those yesterday. I don't know.
Oh, you're right. Monday would have been college football, and maybe the Lions.
I think he did the Lions too yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are going to probably hear less of Shawn until January, just because this guy's bouncing from East Lansing to Ann Arbor to Allen Park to wherever the Lions are playing. I mean, he's working hard. So please support Shawn and all the hardworking people at the Free Press by taking out a subscription. It's only like $1 a month. I mean, that's insane. Although it is a major increase over $1 for 6 months. So we're now getting more than 18 cents a month from you, which maybe you'll have to take a second job to cover that cost. But please support local journalism, because there's more unbiased, truthful, revelatory journalism in your local news source than there is anywhere else. So please help keep us around. Eric has nominated a song with a question. It's definitely not new wave, but that's okay. Here in room 7609, now we want to hear music you'd like to share with us, but more importantly, the story that goes with it. And Eric says, hey guys, curious, is Don Henley's The Boys of Summer sort of on the same wavelength of those 80s tunes ML seems to like? Or is it the corny soft rock category to ML? Well, let's listen to Don talk about the Deadhead sticker he saw in a Cadillac. And while he might not look back, we're going to look back with The Boys of Summer and hear a little bit more from Eric on the backside. So here's Don Henley with The Boys of Summer. He's on the road today.
Nobody on the road, nobody on the beach.
So Eric says, I'm not an 80s music connoisseur, but this song came out in the mid-80s and uses those 80s synthesizers and drum machines, which seems to be prevalent in many songs ML cherishes. It was a number one single in late 84, early 85, when I assume ML and Shawn were teenagers. In fact, yes, I was just graduating from high school, 17 years old. That was before my time, but I think it's such a great classic song, one of the top 500 best all time, according to Rolling Stone magazine. Just curious if it's a song that you gents were fans of, and I think you heard Mark's response.
Sorry.
When it was released in your teens, or maybe appreciated later in life, or maybe it remains lame as hell to a sophisticate like Mr. Elric. Cheers, Eric. Mark, Shawn's not here. I'm sure he would crap on it even if he loved it, because that's kind of his deal.
What I find fun talking about music and movie art in general is so subjective, because I don't like anything Don Henley's ever done. I'm not a fan of the Eagles. I don't care about All She Wants to Do Is Dance or The End of Innocence.
Dirty Laundry.
Oh, God. I don't know. I mean, I know there's people out there that love it. That's not, I don't know if it's because it's soft or because I heard it was on the radio all the time. I don't know. I've just never liked any song he's ever done.
As a resident
The Heart of the Matter. Ugh.
As a resident of Berkeley, are you constitutionally required to be a Glenn Frey fan?
See, I don't mind. I don't
Roy
mind.
Dondero?
That's funny. I don't mind Glenn, but I just was never an Eagles fan. This is probably because of all Don's songs, because he wrote Desperado, awful song. Witchy Woman, I think is Don's. I should look them up, but they're all, to me, no thanks. I don't know. What about you?
So
save me from the mad Eagles fans.
Yeah, well, I mean, Eagles, they did some great stuff. I could take them or leave them. I like Joe Walsh, some of the solo stuff these guys.
Oh God, it gets worse. Yeah, Witchy Woman, Desperado, One of These Nights is Don Henley, Hotel California, The Long Run, Get Over It, Life in the Fast Lane, which is not his worst one, but
guaranteed to blow your mind.
Those are ones that he was the lead on, so I don't know how much he wrote, but yeah.
How much did Timothy B., whatever his name is, on bass write?
Oh shit, what is his name?
One of the few
Timothy B.
rockers
Schmidt,
that uses his middle initial, which I love that. Although Bun E. Carlisle, of course, used his middle initial there with Cheap Trick. So this one really hits me because it came at a time when MTV was really getting big, and as a video, it was kind of cool. It's in black and white or sepia tone, and I love the image.
Video's not bad.
Yeah, I love the image of the volleyball players going up to block a shot. That's kind of cool. It is weird that everything in the video moves except for Don Henley. The street moves, the cars move, he's standing, his hair moves, but Don is somehow frozen. But this song hit me, which if you listen to it, it's about a love affair that's ended, and if you take Don at his word, he seems to blame this lover of hers who became infatuated with, I guess, young, good-looking Beach Boys, the boys of summer, because when they're gone, he'll still be there. So please, baby, come back to me. Which, I don't know. That sounds, if you're dating somebody who ditches you for some dude who spends more time oiling his pecs than doing anything else, I don't know that you want her back. And if you do get her back, you're probably going to want her to shower pretty good, because your sheets, when you get that oil in there and then the mattress, it's terrible. It's horrible. But I was dating somebody around this time, very first serious relationship.
What was his name?
Of my life.
Stupid.
No comment. And we dated off and on, and it was somewhat of a tumultuous relationship, and it ended. And by the time it ended, it was kind of like, well, what happened? I don't understand why the relationship just hit a wall. And so this song, I think, sort of captures that angst. I don't know what happened to our love. That really resonates with me. So this song, for personal reasons, and I actually don't like most of those Don Henley songs that Mark named, but this one I like. I think
okay.
I think musically it's good. I love that fretless bass. It's like really understated, just kind of dropping some accents in there. And I think the lyrics are clever. It's got kind of a nice I don't know, maybe it's a Southern California thing, but it's not loud. It's not driving. It's just kind of there. It's atmospheric, but it also captures some of that mood of the mid '80s. That whole line, "A deadhead sticker on a Cadillac." This is when some of the hippies we're hearing a lot about. All these people have been so radical in the '60s and early '70s. Hippies, yippies, Vietnam protesters, how they all went to work for IBM or they became executives, and how they had sold out, how they'd become the man, they'd become everything they hated, and there was a lot of feeling that that whole movement may have just been fraudulent because maybe it was just all about the drugs, sex, and rock and roll, and nothing about changing America and the world. And that whole notion of "I saw a deadhead sticker on a Cadillac," I think really kind of hits at that dichotomy of I'm counterculture, but I'm driving a Cadillac, and that's about as establishment as it gets. So, I mean, the song works for me on a lot of levels. Shawn probably hates it for all the exact same reasons. But
it's funny. We talk about earlier. We talked about John Wayne, right?
Oh yeah. He tried.
Who gave some pretty poor opinions in an article from 1971. But and people wanted to cancel. People wanted to take his name off the airport in the LA area. And music's different. And I don't like the idea of canceling things. But nobody ever seems to mention when they mentioned Don Henley about his prostitution arrest with underage women. It's just kind of
what.
Oh, yeah, that's what Dirty Laundry's about, was the media coverage of his... let me look it up again. But
so he's blaming the media because he got arrested with underage prostitutes.
Dirty Laundry.
First of all, Don, you're in the Eagles. You're like the top-selling band in the world in the 70s. You couldn't find consenting women who were 18 across the country and 14 in Mississippi.
The song was inspired by the intrusive press coverage surrounding the deaths of John Belushi and Natalie Wood, and Henley's own arrest in 1980 when he was charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor and prostitution and possession of marijuana, cocaine, and Quaaludes after a 16-year-old girl overdosed at his LA home.
Well,
it happened.
Let me tell you something, Don. It's too bad they didn't tell you this, or you did and you ignored it. It's something that every vendor at Comerica Park and Tiger Stadium knows. We ID under 35.
Yeah.
You got some 16-year-old chick at your place, you're getting all blown out, and she almost ODs. I'm sorry if the press was intrusive, but it sounds like that's news. But yeah, and Don, isn't he kind of the more...
Wait, it happened to him again in 1991. Jesus Christ.
It wasn't he kind of one of the more contentious Eagles? Didn't they get into a bunch of lawsuits? Oh, they're suing each. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so anyway, but yeah, Eric, thank you for this suggestion for Room 7609. We love to get your suggestions. It spares you from some of the crap that I'll come up with, but please always send us a little story about it or something that helps connect you with it. I'm kind of curious where Eric first heard it. It sounds like he's considerably younger than me. I know it's probably in heavy rotation, and a lot of the AOR stations are on 94.7 or something. But one of the top 500 songs of all time. I don't know. When you say 500 songs, that seems like a lot. Then you start listing your favorite songs. Like, holy shit, I got 1,000.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. Drew probably has 1 million. They're all Beatles. But I remember that recording they had on the phone. That's number 999.
I wish I loved something that much.
But yeah, no, that Boys of Summer, whenever I hear it, it still kind of hits me. It still kind of takes me back to a place. And I think that's what all great music, all great art does, is it connects you with a feeling or with a moment in time, and that's why I love music, and that's why I'm glad it's still an important part of the show, and why I think people in our 5 years do seem to still enjoy that we have music on here, even if they don't always enjoy the music.
Oh, I do, and I rarely like the song. Shawn hates every song, and he enjoys it.
Yeah, I know. It's can we do Emmett Otter's Jug Band? They had a Christmas tune. Yeah, we'll get that on right after the live Jim Henson interview, which of course won't happen because Jim Henson is
sucks.
Not live.
Rest in peace, Jim.
I would say he ribbited, but it turns out he croaked.
Yeah.
Anyway, we want to thank those of you who listen every week. Please tell a friend. Share the link if you find it on X. I'm at Elric, Elrick. Sometimes I'm on Facebook. And if you want to support the show, you may have noticed we have a couple fewer sponsors this week. We still encourage you to let Come Play Detroit know you heard about them from our show if you get involved in any of the great sport leagues that I love to play. And if you take a ride on the Michigan Peddler, they're not sponsoring the show because it's kind of cooling off out there, but let them know if you talk to them that you heard about them from ML Soul of Detroit. But the sponsors that never go, that we rely on every week, are you. We appreciate when you listen. We appreciate when you share our show. And if you can spare a few bucks through Patreon, it really does help us because sponsors come and go. But those of you who are part of the show, we hope will always be with us. And if you leave a little cash behind, we'll take it. So 2 new members of the Soul Patrol. One of my best friends in the world, one of my oldest friends in the world, meaning that we've been friends so long, not that he's older than other people I know. Matt Castaneer. I didn't say accomplice. Unindicted co-conspirator, perhaps. And then Rick. And this is really what it said when he signed up. Rick, the Immaculate Circumcision, is now a member of our
Congratulations
Patreon
for that.
posse. Yeah. So thanks, Rick. And they left that one out in church, but you have to tell us the backstory one of these days. I am occasionally going on to Patreon and sharing a message or engaging with some of our listeners. You don't have to be a paying member, but it's good to be in touch with you on another platform. So that's sporadic. Maybe Marc and Shawn will jump on sometimes, but check us out. It's great to have kind of a show within the show for those of you who are really digging it. Usually we hear from you with some feedback. We have no feedback this week. So please let us know what's on your mind. Ask us questions. Give us your opinions. Constructive criticism and feedback is always appreciated. But if you just want to rant, we'll do that too. And you can reach us at mlsoulofdetroit@gmail.com. Earlier in the show, I said I'm comfortable making a few predictions about the debate, which most of you will have seen or heard about by the time you get this show. I think it will be widely viewed. Yeah. And I think if you didn't watch the whole thing, there will be moments that go viral because this is such a big deal. I expect Trump to not do as well as he did against Biden, mainly because he did not have a great debate, but Biden had a terrible debate. But I think no matter what Trump does, this is going to pivot on Kamala Harris's performance because we've seen Trump in debates now for, a decade. And we know what he does and we know who he is and he kind of never changes. But this will be our first chance to see her in a live fire situation. And I do think at some point you're going to hear her say, I'm speaking now, even though the mics are off, because that's kind of her little pivot. She used it on Mike Pence when they had their vice presidential debate in 2020. And she used it on those protesters in Detroit when she was here at the airport when some people who were upset about the administration's Middle East policy piped up. So I think she's got a few little tricks up her sleeve that we're going to see. But with the mics off, it's going to be interesting to see how they convey to us the interruptions and some of the stuff that's going on stage that we can't hear. And of course, the moderators are not going to be fact checking. So it'll be up to the candidates to point out when the other candidate says something that's not true. And that would be my last prediction. I think you're going to see a lot of truth squatting on the fly from each candidate saying what that candidate just said is not true and here's why. And they may use it both to set the record straight and to avoid answering a question that they don't want to answer. So 3 minutes ago, so-and-so said this, and I'm going to tell you why they were wrong as opposed to explain to you why my policy is going to lower inflation.
I always find that so annoying during a debate. It's like, just answer the question. We've moved on.
Yeah. Well, these folks go there with things that they have to say. And for those of you who heard The Boys of Summer when it was on the radio in heavy rotation, when Dukakis and George H.W. Bush were debating back in 1988, it was kind of, George Bush was sort of stiff, and so was Dukakis for that matter. But there was something about, why aren't these guys, kind of funny or lively or whatever. And there was one point in a debate where George H.W. Bush comes out and says, is this the part where we do our one-liners? And then he told his joke because somebody had told him, work a joke in somewhere.
Oh, I don't remember that. That's awful.
Yeah. It was one of those things just like, okay, we know you came here to accomplish a couple things. You're now checking a box. But if you're going to do that, maybe a little more seamlessly, that would be good. And there was also something in those 1988 debates that was, people want to tell personal stories and they want to connect you to their humanity. But I think Dukakis told a story about a child in his family being sick or dying, one of his children. And then Bush, like, almost excitedly piped, it's like, we lost a daughter. We lost a daughter.
God.
And it's one of those things where in debates, you prepare for it, and there are moments you're waiting for. If they give me an opportunity, if there's an opening, I've got to get this out there. I've got to do this. And I think sometimes it comes off as looking overeager. And I'm sure there'll be at least one moment tonight where if you go back and look at it, and it'll make sense to you if you just keep in mind, somebody told them whatever happens before this night is over, you must do this or say this. And when you think about it, that awkward little, I was going to say ejaculation, but an awkward little interjection, yes, whatever it is, exhortation, whatever you want to call it, will make sense because somebody was told, do not leave without saying or doing this. Those are my predictions.
All right. I like it. They're good. They're solid.
And of course, Cage the Elephant, opening act, Young the Giant. And I know,
we're all the idiots for
watching it. I will be standing in the line. So we're all got something So, and what happened to all these fits and the tantrums? Everybody's got a in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the backing band. Not the Red Hot Chili Peppers, though. No the there.
Yeah, no.
They get mad if you say the. Did you know that?
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's, I don't know if they still do, but that was always a rule. You do not refer to them as the Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's Red Hot Chili Peppers.
But
when you're interviewing them, yeah.
It is the Ohio State University.
Sure, yeah, because there's multiple Ohio State universities, but just not that. They're the Ohio State.
Wow, it can go
cool
either way. Well, I represent the undefeated, tied for first place in the Big Ten college football team. Your Michigan State Spartans. Feeling much better about that 6-6 prediction. How are you feeling, Mark? I know sports radio.
Feel great about
the Wolverine fans are true to form. We got to get rid of Sharon Moore. We got to do this. It's like the bandwagon. They all flew off. Well, how are you doing?
2 games. Well, I mean. So game 1 went pretty much like we thought. I think the big concern is, that between week 1 and week 2 is supposed to be a big leap of how people perform, and they didn't do it. So that was the number 1 concern. Number 2 is they didn't tackle well, and they didn't catch well. They dropped a lot of balls, right? Michigan did. I don't know how much of the game you watched, but they've dropped a lot of passes the first 2 weeks.
I listened to it. I was doing yard work and stuff.
So dropping balls and not tackling well is just so fundamentally something you have to do in football. And that starts with coaching. And that's where you worry about Sharon Moore and the changeover. But then again, they basically have a whole new staff and a whole new team. So
because of drinking
8-4, I mean, does that seem like that would be a disappointment for this year for a lot of fans? But that seems like the path that they're on.
Well, I always say with these preseason rankings, how can you, and I know they have to rank the national champ high, but how can you ever have any confidence in a high ranking for a team that has a new coach, a new quarterback? I mean, a new quarterback in college is the difference between being a top team and being out of the top 25.
Sure.
I mean, it's
probably why,
crazy. But it does seem like malpractice that Michigan went into this season not knowing what they have and, more importantly, what they don't have, because I got to believe they could get anybody they want.
What do you mean?
At quarterback. I mean...
Well, who should they have gotten?
I don't know. I'm not as smart as Wolverines.
Well, I'm just saying they...
Greatest university in the world.
Well, I mean, if you really want to get into the weeds about it, you had Harbaugh, who knew he was leaving but couldn't say that he was leaving. And they're preparing for a national championship. So I don't think the sight was really on this team this year back then.
Well,
and then when the spring portal rolls around, there's really nobody in it. There's nobody to get.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It looks.
Oh, it's bleak.
like
no, they don't have
malpractice
a quarterback.
But we'll see.
Knock it off.
I got to talk to Drew before Maz gets to him to see if he's got any tickets for that Michigan State game now.
No, he doesn't. They're all gone.
Damn it. If Mazaway took one, I don't want to have a panic attack on the aisles there.
Why? He's a Spartan fan.
Mazaway?
Yeah.
We reject Mazaway.
Why? That's where his daughter goes.
We like young Mazaway. Ms. Mazaway. Tom?
She was holding the clock. I'm sure you didn't recognize her. Week 1, she was holding the timeout clock for the, because she works with the football team. Or with the athletic department, actually. I think not the football team, but she was holding the little timer on the field that tells you how much time's left.
Oh, great. Well,
you know that?
I guess we'll see Tom in some free MSU
He loves
gear.
the Spartans.
Hates Spartan Stadium. Hates it.
Yeah.
Never go back. Is he going back?
I told you, I'm never going back. Yeah, he was back week 1.
So much for the Mazaway boycott. We'll get you back to East Lansing. We'll get you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
We'll graft a pair of balls on you. You'll come with some big old oysters. But next week, not sure what's happening. We'd hope to have Eli and an author talking about a Detroit Lions book. We're going to try and have them on next week. We had some scheduling issues. Hopefully we'll get those fixed. And stay tuned. Erica Erickson is going to be coming on the show a lot more often. And she's really a lot. It's going to be a lot of fun for us, and we hope it's going to be a lot of fun for you too. So, Mark, anything else we didn't cover in the pre-show meeting that seemed to last almost as long as the interminable show itself?
Nothing that can't wait.
Well said.
I mean, I'm serious. Nothing that can't wait till next week.
Well said. And now I'm going to say the words that everybody who listens to this show has come to love and look forward to. Cyrus, take us out.
Can you dig that? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Says Life magazine.
The soul of Detroit
is good enough for me. It's good enough for you. And if it isn't good enough for some movie company, then the free enterprise system is really going to hell. Move along!